Hi guys, well in this video I want to discuss with you how to get your significant other on board with your goal or plan. I think it's really important to share it with your significant other. That's because pretty much the journey you're on right now to become a millionaire, which is what the journey I'm on now, and do that in 10 years from the starting point of minimum wage, it's going to be a lonely one. You're going to do it by yourself. And I think it'd be better if en route you had some encouragement and some support on the way there. I never got that, and that's my fault. And I want to help you avoid that mistake by doing some of the things I should have done. Now, one of the things I think you should do right from the very beginning is to explain to your significant other, or the rest of your family for that matter, what it is you're trying to achieve, your goal. And then you want to chat with them in detail again, the plan, explaining exactly how it is you're going to do it, what the goal will look like when you're there. That is to say, in my case, it was a £100,000 yacht. Now it's a £200,000 catamaran. So much money in the bank. And then explain to them the route you're going to take, the plan that you're going to enact in order to get there. It's important they believe in the plan and believe in the goal, because that's the way you're going to get some support from them. Now, I didn't do that, and there's a good reason for not doing that, and that's because for many times I tried to do it in the past using get-rich-quick schemes, none of which works, by the way. And so to say they had little confidence in my ability to achieve what I want to achieve was going to be low, and that was not an understatement. So I never did that. And so it got to the stage where they knew I was making good money because I was working lots of hours. For the first 2 years, I took 4 days off in 2 years, both Christmas days and Boxing days. So they knew I was making lots of money, but they couldn't see any evidence of that. There was no proof of that other than the fact I was working. And it came to a head one day when my wife decided we needed a new roof. I didn't think we did, but she decided we did. And she was explaining, she'd obviously had this chat with my youngest daughter, who's still living with us. And when they explained their plan, which was to replace the roof, they both looked at me when it came to the price of just under £5,000. And I said, well, I'm not paying for it. And the look of disgust I got from them was such that I was left with no uncertainty that they thought I wasn't contributing enough, and that I was clearly making some money, and therefore some more of it should go their way, or at least towards the house. And what I had to do is I had to give a presentation the next day as to the goal, which I hadn't done right from the very beginning. I explained to them where we started from, where I wanted to get to, where we are now, and what the goal would look like in the future, which turned it around. But it wasn't necessary. Had I done it right from the very beginning, had I explained the goal and then the plan, they would have been on board right from the very beginning. So if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link below. And whilst you're checking out that link below, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, because that's what all YouTubers tell you to do. So right from the very beginning, now what I want you to do is to explain the goal and explain the plan. Show them, demonstrate if you can, how their lives will be different when you achieve that goal. Now, I did this last night, and I'm just over 3 years into the plan. In between watching at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I have to say it's Friday, I finished a little early after dropping the school kids off, watching bargain Brits in the sun, bargain-loving Brits in the sun, and in between that and the chase, I skipped to YouTube, and I found a YouTube channel I watch called Aquaholic. If you like luxury boats and want to see how the other half live, subscribe to it. Some beautiful boats in there. And I picked out a Lagoon 40, which is a catamaran of the size I was buying. And I said to my wife, you need to watch this. This is the sort of thing I'm going to buy. So she put her iPad down and she watched. It was only 8.5 minutes long, glued to this, watching them showing around all the crew quarters, the guest rooms, the state room. And she just put at the end of it, she looked at me and she says, that's wonderful. And it was great, because then she understood, again, it was just a little reminder where the plan was going. Now, what I think you also should do is, as well as explain the plan, you want to set some waypoints or milestones, just so you can tick boxes and know you're going there. So my milestones or waypoints were at the mark where I bought 3 properties, and I'm just buying my 3rd one this month. And then the next one is 5 properties, and then 8 properties. Why? Because at 3 properties, the rental income from those properties is sufficient to pay all my bills. So at that point, later this month, I reach lean FI. At 5 properties, there's enough. That's £2,000 a month in rent. It's equivalent to what I make as a taxi driver. So at that point, I'm at full FI, where my passive income, such as it is, replaces my income, my earned income, and I could retire at that point if I wanted to. Not going to, obviously. The 8th property allows, they kick out enough rent in order to buy 2 properties a year from that rent, which means from the 9th to the 20th property onwards, I can keep all the cash in my bank account or my Vanguard ISA. Now, I think also important when you hit those marks, like my first one coming up 3 properties, is that you celebrate them. So I'm going to take my wife and my 2 daughters out, and we're going to go to a nice restaurant and spend a couple of £100 on a day just celebrating it. So they can all look back and say, this is how far we've come. And at that 3rd property, at that lunch, I will not do a presentation because that would just be stupid in a restaurant. But I will give them a piece of A4 each, which will show them how far we've come, where we are now, the 3 property mark, the next goal, and when we're going to achieve it, which will be in 12 months' time. And then in 12 months' time, we'll then go out and celebrate and do the whole thing again. So it's important you explain the goals, explain the plan, set waypoints as you go in order to celebrate, because those little celebrations are a pat on the back to you and your family for supporting you. So that's what I would have done had I been cleverer, had I not been so stupid. So please do that, guys. Get your significant others on board. You might be lucky enough to have, when you've demonstrated what you're going to do and you tell your significant others and family that they don't have to do anything, it will not affect their lives, you're going to take all the hassle, the extra hours, the extra work, the austerity onto yourself. You may be lucky enough for your significant other to say, well, you know, Perry, if you're doing that, then I'm going to do this and I'm going to come on the journey with you. Because that will obviously help you massively. It's a greater contribution to funds, and you're doing it together. In my relationship, that was never going to happen. Not because she's not a wonderful person, it's just that I'd put upon her so much throughout my life that I didn't want to put it upon her again, and I wanted to do it all myself. But it doesn't have to be that way, guys. Don't be stupid and don't be normal.